when I was like 20, 21 years old, it was extremely important for me to have money because that is something I didn't have. Goa has gone crazy with tourism, and the huge jump has happened only after the casinos came in there.
Goa remained a hotspot with tourists flocking in Delta Corp.
Delta Corp, which is the only listed gaming and hospitality company in India.
Very inspired by your story.
I see a lot of myself in you.
Hi everyone. Welcome to the third episode of our podcast, Beyond the Dream. Today we're joined by a very special guest, and for me personally, for numerous reasons, my father-in-law and a legend in his own right, Mr. Jaydev Mody. I think a majority of you all would know him as the chairman of Delta Corp and his own company, JM Group, which is quite a diversified conglomerate in its own right. For me, I've been hanging out with Jaydev Uncle, who I'm going to refer to as Jaydev Uncle. That's what it's hard to say Mr. Mody through this entire interview. But I've been hanging out a lot with him over the last few years. And the reason why he came onto this show, he genuinely hates doing stuff like this, but he did it just for me. So thank you. And I feel like our community of entrepreneurs and folks that are interested in real estate have a lot to learn from you, just like I have and continue to do so. So again, thanks for that. And really, it's just going to be a freewheeling conversation, more about your story, more about things that people don't necessarily read in the news or watch on a CNBC TV 18, where they can really, just learn a little bit about the man behind your entire story. But before that, I'm just going to, obviously, before we get into your very illustrious career, I think there's 3 or 4 things about you that have impacted me very, very deeply, that I try and learn from you. I think one is how you're incredibly decisive. Second is how you're extremely present. And third is you have this habit of doing whatever it is now. And you do all of this while being extremely focused on your family. So I think that is really the root of why I wanted to speak with you. So beyond obviously everything that's business and investing and real estate, I think these 3 themes are things that I'd want to keep revisiting through our conversation, because I feel like that is honestly that's the trick on how you probably actually do everything that you do. I hope you don't mind me just revisiting that from time to time. But Jaydev Uncle, just over to you. I think would love to start from the start. I think everyone knows you for the gaming business, for the pioneering work that you've done in real estate. But take us back to when you were a kid at Peninsula Road at West Hill. Tell us about your formative years. Tell us about where a lot of this drive came to you as an individual from, and there was a good 10, 12 years of you doing a totally different business or multiple businesses. Would love to hear about that entire story, because I feel like people don't know about that. So yeah, over to you.
So firstly, you haven't spent enough time with me.
Why?
You said, that we've spent a lot of time together, but it's not been enough.
It's not enough
so
at
we
all.
must spend a little more time.
Yes.
So I got a very long story. I'm almost 70, so obviously, a lot has happened in my life. So going back to when I was a kid, I lost my father very young. I was 16 years old. As soon as he passed away, I started working.
Right.
And then I worked from 1971 when I was 16 until 76 for 5 years for 2 companies.
Yeah.
And it was just a job, and I realized that for me having a boss is very difficult. I had my own way of doing things, and the boss had his own way of doing things.
Yeah.
And for all those 5 years, I realized that it's not working. So I
Right.
decided to do it my way.
Right.
And then started a business. My whole thing was to do anything that made money, frankly. Anything.
Okay.
Nothing illegal, but
Yeah.
any other thing I would want to trade on the markets, I want to trade in hardware, in garments, in anything.
Yeah.
But at that age, when I was like 20, 21 years old, it was extremely important for me to have money because that is something I didn't have.
Right.
And I wanted to have what I didn't have. We weren't broke,
Yeah.
but we were very, very middle class family, very limited resources.
Right.
I never got everything we wanted, never.
Yeah.
Me or my two sisters never got everything that we wanted. I wanted everything that I wanted.
Sure.
So that money thing there was a fire in the belly to make money.
Sure.
So we did that. I traded and then made a little bit of money, decided to have that was a very lumpy business. Trading
Sure.
is a lumpy business.
You mean on the stock market?
No, trading
with
in
commodities
goods, in commodities, in market.
Yeah.
You could make money, then you get an order, then you execute, then for a month there is nothing. It's not a business when you
Sure.
don't control the supply side or the manufacturing side or the buying side. You find it extremely difficult,
Correct.
as you may know. You don't control any component.
Absolutely.
So we decided to get into I decided to get into a more stable kind of business. Said that manufacturing is, so you produce every day and you sell every day and you collect every day and you
Yeah.
build a company and you have a steady business. So got into manufacturing. That business of mine still exists. We
Right.
make elastics and labels and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So
yeah.
started that in '83, and the company is a small company,
Sure.
but it still operates. So that was my early days. Went
Yeah.
into that, and then things settled down. Then 83 we started this. 85, 86 I got into real estate.
Yeah. So just to spend a little bit of time before we transition into the real estate era for you. I think there's two things that you said that were pretty interesting that I think every business guru out there would really frown upon or think differently, right? I think a lot of the thoughts or the books that you read or the articles or the Y Combinator videos that you watch today don't talk about money as the starting point. It always talks about starting with the customer. Let's reverse engineer with a pain point. Let's talk about an experience that you've had that you're unhappy with that you can extrapolate. How did you? I get that making money was the driving point, and this must have been a totally different time, right? In the 70s, verging on moving into the 80s, to actually come up. India wasn't liberalized, wasn't as open. Opportunities must have been a little harder to come by. You were significant.
Very difficult.
So can we spend some time about how you actually, one is taking that decision or being thrown into that space where you had to make that decision, and second is how did you operationally go about it? How did you manage getting the capital to do what you had to do? If you were trading, did you have to buy? Did you have to borrow? How did you, like, just a few nuances that people that are starting from scratch, because I don't think anyone knows that you really started from scratch, and at least in an intricate kind of manner.
I did start from scratch.
Yeah.
And like I said, we didn't have any means, we didn't have any capital. So I sold stuff. I sold silver utensils, very limited. We didn't have a cupboard full, but whatever we had, some
Right.
jewelry. My mother, it was just me and my mother. By then, my sisters were married. My father passed away, and my mother was very supportive, and she let me do exactly what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And it was like, we sold 4, 5, 6 lakhs worth of stuff, and
Yeah.
I invested it in this manufacturing business. Prior to that, trading, you didn't need money, you could speculate, which
Understood.
this gambling streak was always there.
Yeah.
So it was gambling really in those
Sure.
days. And you didn't have to put up any margin, or you didn't have to, you go, broker is convinced that you will make good, and he would let you trade.
Right.
And you just look at the difference in price. And So there were times between my export orders, etc. We'd go and sit with the broker. I would go and sit with the broker in his office, and I would say, buy this in 15 minutes. I would sell it, or it was, like that.
Right.
But I don't know about all these books and all that. But for me, the craving was always to make money. That's what motivated me, really.
Understood.
I didn't want to become. I didn't dream that I would be at a certain kind of level.
Yeah.
It wasn't that. It was
Sure.
just to have more.
Yeah.
And it was important for me, and it was the money was the driving factor.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to
No, not at all.
disappoint all the gurus.
Not at all. I think maybe people don't speak the truth enough, right? Maybe it's actually always been that, and people just don't say it, and it's guised in another manner, which I feel it truly is. So it's refreshing to hear you actually say that. So you were thrust into a scenario. In a way, it kind of became your way of life. It was something I think that consumed you the way I see it. Even the way you operate today is it's at a very, very high functioning level. So I can imagine you in your 20s to another degree, right, with something like this happening. I'm sure your manufacturing you moved from trading up into manufacturing. You kept scaling manufacturing. You've told me stories of how you used to sleep in the factory to make things happen.
Exactly.
And it was you and Sunil who's still with you. We'll touch upon how you are with your people through the course of this conversation. But how did you move, and how did you kind of navigate your career then from there? Did it move into real estate by accident? Was it more purposeful? Did you find a specific opportunity? Did you start becoming more intentional about the businesses that you wanted to build after that? Or was it still, hey, listen, I feel like there's a money-making opportunity?
It was all opportunity-based.
Right.
You have to, opportunities might be all around you, but you may not see it. And sometimes you have to create that opportunity in your own mind from the limited resources that you have. And when you have limited resources, you actually end up finding opportunity in those three things that you have.
Sure.
And make do and do your best and move forward. So it's always been opportunity based.
Right.
I have a weakness for actually dreaming of opportunities.
Sure.
And I still do that. So something that you may see as an opportunity, I may not, but
Right.
something you don't see as an opportunity, I do.
No, I've witnessed that.
So mine was always opportunity based. I wasn't purposefully getting into real estate or everything presented itself in some format, and I decided that there is a opportunity here. For example, real estate.
Yeah.
There was an old, dilapidated, fully tenanted, useless property that my mother's mother had in Baroda.
Sure.
She passed away and she left that to me, and I hadn't even seen it. Then when the factory and the manufacturing in 83, 84, 85 started settling down, I said I might as well go and see this place. So I made my first trip to Baroda, and I saw this dilapidated thing with some 15 tenants in it.
Yeah.
All difficult guys, but the location was good.
Right.
So then I got hold of a partner who would invest to remove the tenants, and then we removed the tenant. I was in Baroda for 2 years, removed them. I built an office building over there by 88 and sold it. And then when me and my partner split, I told him I want to take all the construction equipment for it. I thought contracting would be a great thing.
Sure.
So we separated, he took some space and I took all the equipment, and then I built a school in Panchgani and learnt about construction firsthand. And then of course, Ajay Piramal and me got together and I developed a building, and then we did more and more and more.
No. For sure, I think there's a snowball that really builds up. But just to speak about this opportunistic mindset, I think that is very, very important. I feel a lot of people get stuck at that, and it becomes when you don't have resources, probably constraints are good in its own way, right? That's where it forces you to be creative.
True.
So yes, okay, you had the good fortune of getting this dilapidated building in your name, so that was a little bit of luck that we all need in life. But how did you then actually go? Okay, you made the physical move, of course, to Baroda and spent a lot of time there to make it happen. But how did you go about funding it? How did you go about bringing on, like how did that work? Just a little bit in the weeds.
I convinced a partner, a financial partner, that I can clear all these guys up
Yeah,
and that it's a great location. Come and have a look. And the guy was convinced.
sure,
And he, in fact, I met him just 2-3 days ago.
right,
And he had faith that I would be able to do it. And the thing was convincing him,
sure,
getting all the, ducks in a row kind of, and
Yeah.
then taking it to him.
yeah,
And it wasn't luck. It was just something that was lying there.
right,
Nobody would see it as an opportunity. It was sitting there with my grandmother for 50, 70 years prior to that.
right,
I saw it as an opportunity.
yeah,
So, and it was an impossible situation.
right. No, to manage tenants in that time must
Very
have been
difficult.
out
The
of
law
control.
was totally against you.
Yeah,
In those days, it was horrible. Even in manufacturing, I waited 3 years to get my license to import 2 looms.
crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it was ridiculous, but it was very tough.
No, I think there's another set of odds, I think, stacked against you at that time. Maybe today it's incredibly, I mean, if you compare, it's much easier to start a business today. Maybe the competition is a little bit more in each sector, but this just seems like an operational kind of nightmare.
But I think there's opportunity at all the time.
Sure.
I mean, for thousands of years, there's been opportunity.
Yeah.
It existed 30, 40 years ago, it exists today,
Right.
and it'll exist in a different area of business tomorrow. You just have to recognize it.
And find it.
That's all.
No, I hear you. I hear you. Okay, so trading moves into manufacturing, moves into real estate. You've had a successful project. How did that snowball keep getting larger? And what was that one pivotal moment really, or is it just a series of moments that kind of built up for you that really changed the trajectory of things for you?
No, I think fortunately, I always got the product and the location right. You screw up on the location and you do a great product, it won't work.
Right.
You screw up on the product and you have a great location, it will not work.
Right.
So for every location, there is a certain product required.
Right.
And you have to deliver that product. I've been fortunate enough to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And like when I built Ashok Towers and Peninsula Corporate Park, everybody around me thought that being closer to Worli, Corporate Park would be a better residential location.
Sure.
And the other one at Parel would be a better commercial location. I
Right.
thought exactly the opposite.
Correct.
And then I was right.
No,
It
for sure.
developed as a commercial hub, and that developed as a residential hub. And I fortunately got it right. So it's all location and product. You
Yeah.
you can't go to Bhayandar and build a 5-star, 7-star property. You can't.
Sure.
That location requires a certain type of product which you have to deliver. Similarly in South Bombay.
Right.
So I think that's really the secret.
Right. So that's really, I think, how it went down operationally for you. But what I'd like to get into is how did you go about, okay, so the projects that you did with Ashok Towers and with the corporate park, how did those projects start? You want to talk about that a little bit? How did those, did you chase those projects? Did you go fundraise specifically for it, just like you met an
No.
investor?
The product, I mean, the land belonged to.
Because those are like iconic developments, right? I think even when I was a kid, growing up, that Lower Parel stretch, life ended at CO's, that one bowling alley that we had. And Lower Parel was a ghost town. And cut to like maybe 5-7 years later, my first internship was at Peninsula Corporate Park in the accounts department of a Piramal company. So, I think with real estate, of course, having that foresight is extremely important. How did you make that happen at that scale? Because the type of development, even if you walk there today, it feels plush. It feels like you're not in Bombay. It feels like you're somewhere abroad. So you want to talk about that a little bit? Like specifics in how did you, okay, I get that you picked a location effectively.
No, I didn't pick a location.
Okay,
The location, there was a mill there, which belonged to Morarji Mills.
right,
So I didn't have to buy. I had a kind of a arrangement with the Piramal family,
Yeah.
specifically Ajay Piramal.
Right.
And he and the mill was doing very, very badly, and it was losing a crazy amount of money, and it had huge debt. And he called me in and said that we want to develop this
Yeah.
and get back the capital, pay back, shut the mill, do a VRS, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So it was the whole prep of shutting the mill and the workers going and getting further debt for construction because the company had no money.
Right.
Getting further debt to construct and then to sell, collect, pay something to construction, pay something to the banks and clear the
the
whole
cash
thing.
flow
Same
going.
thing happened to both the mills for where Ashok Towers is
Right.
and where Peninsula Corporate Park is. When we executed that, then more mills came to us
Right.
saying that you've done it. We actually helped shape the policy.
Right.
The mills were like a negative, it was a huge vote bank, and therefore the government never wanted to shut mills and develop them, and then you would have lakhs of workers
Yeah.
who would be jobless.
in arms,
So
right.
there was a separate DC rule, a development control rule only applicable to textile.
Got it.
So to change that and get government on board, understanding what happened
Yeah.
to the textile business was a huge challenge.
Right.
It was very, very difficult. Then there were PILs in the middle and work stopped. I mean, everything happened. But, one sorted everything out and built in each location more than 1 million square feet of.
Right.
And they're iconic today, like you
Iconic,
said. They're
iconic.
Even Ashok Towers, iconic.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Ashok Towers is one of those developments where I think till today the people living there are aghast at how much money they've made. I don't know, in the X's,
8x at least.
which is absurd for coming in and buying a fully finished product. This has been another, I think, recurring theme maybe in your real estate career, where it's not necessarily been about only about the location and the product, but also the structuring, right? Because not only did it apply to how you dealt with the folks at the mills and whatever government agencies would have been involved, but also to one of the first malls in our country, I think, which is totally revolutionary, right? At the time, commerce is extremely not concentrated. So how did you go about doing that? I think people take it for granted today.
So it was the first mall. Why didn't people put up malls? Because there was a tenancy act where if I built a mall and rented it to you, you would become a tenant and then you would be protected under the Rent Act.
Right.
And you don't have to, and if we fix up a rental of say 2 lakhs of rupees a month, you could go back and say that I want standard rent and pay me only 2,000 rupees a month.
Right.
So all these challenges were there. In fact, when there were some factories over here, and we are figuring out what to do with this. We closed the factories. So the architects and the consultants who came said, let's just do a vanilla office office building project and be
Right.
done with it. And I was totally against that. I said, they're adding no value.
Sure.
Everybody's doing this and you'll get the rental of 50, 60 rupees.
Correct.
And then we made this whole project, and then after we constructed, I said that let's do a mall and we'll find a structure
Yeah.
to to avert all disasters coming
Sure.
from the Rent Act.
Yeah.
And we structured something
Right.
which worked, after which, of course, now it's history. There are thousands of malls all over the country which are modeled around the same concept
Right.
as we established for Crossroads.
Right.
There was a time when across the road from Crossroad, I was renting office space for 50, 60 rupees a square foot.
Right.
And at Crossroads, across the road, I was getting 250 rupees a square foot.
Got
That
it.
was a challenge.
Right.
I had my office in Crossroad. I've moved there and I rented out that. So it was,
Yeah.
it's again, like I said, right product, right location.
Got it. Got it.
It always comes down to that. It's all-
So with the mall, right? I think one is operationally thinking on the product, the location, the structure that's behind it. Do you want to talk about a little bit about the fun of maybe running or the craziness of actually running a mall? Because you were the MD of that entire project through its life cycle. Any funny stories you'd like to share? I think a lot of kids have had some of their best times in Jamin. That one place which was everyone's birthday party, at least everyone in Bombay's birthday party zone. Any interesting stories, anecdotes,
Not from the
interactions?
operations. I had all the fun building it out.
Yeah,
Again, very funny thing there that when the factories were built, there was an FSI of 2 to 1.
right.
And all around, if you demolish this and reconstruct it, you get 1.33. So you're losing substantial
Sure.
area. So the challenge was retaining 3 factory buildings built at different times, connecting them, providing parking underneath, parking on the terrace, but I couldn't demolish. Because the moment I demolished it, I would lose thousands of square feet of
Potential
FSI.
Right.
So building it out was the fun. We actually jacked up the whole building.
Right.
It was
What does that mean?
meaning we went under the building, under the foundations,
Right.
and first jacked up the building on jacks.
Huh.
Then we broke we demolished the old foundations.
Right.
And then we extended the foundations to build in a basement where we could park and then go into an elevator and go up to the terrace and park over there.
Yeah.
So I had to actually jack up the building 5 stories
So
above.
for the entire time we were in your mall, it was on stilts.
Not entire time. Then we extended the foundations
Okay.
and built a new foundation at a lower level.
Right.
So that was really something that's never happened before, and it was great
didn't
fun
even know
building
that.
it out.
Yeah.
And then, of course, joining them all, which were different levels, foundations were different, very technical, but it was great fun building it out.
Right.
The operating part was really not, it became very commercial for us,
Commoditized,
you know.
sure.
And it was just a question of marketing it, collecting rent, making sure everybody in there succeeds.
Yeah.
So that's important to
Of course.
sustain high rentals.
Of course.
Operationally, I didn't enjoy it too
Didn't
much.
get- I think the technical challenges, that sounds like
Yeah.
something a little
It was
crazy.
great fun.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So, a lot of different opportunities, and I think you're, maybe in your mid-30s at this point.
So what, 45,
You're in your mid-40s at this
when
point.
I built Crossroads.
When you built Crossroads. So there's a lot that's happened in those 25 years of you working across like 3 different industries. And then obviously real estate then becomes part of really your DNA and everything that you do. But then how did you move, or I can't even use the word transition, but how did the gaming industry come into your life? I think you've said that there's a gambling streak that's always been there in you or with you. How did that culminate? I think that's an interesting point which we'll touch upon, but I feel like you put a lot of your personality somehow into your businesses. Whether you like wildlife, so you'll have forces, or you enjoy sports, you'll have FC Goa. How did the gaming business enter your life?
So in 2005, when I turned 50, I decided, I always said, when I was 30, I said, I want to retire at 50.
Yeah.
So the biggest mistake I made was at 50, I retired.
Oh, you actually tried it.
I actually retired, and for 6-8 months, I did nothing. And then, of course, in those 6-8 months, this opportunity came on my doorstep that the government of Goa is issuing licenses. I used to spend a lot of time in Goa. I bought a lot of property there after,
Yeah.
during the course of my retirement and a little earlier.
Sure.
So this came to me, and then the sickness is that once you get into a business, then you must lead it.
Sure.
So then we got 1 license, then we acquired a second one and a third one. Out of 6 licenses, we had 3 licenses. And
Right.
then, of course, we had the tiger by the tail, and you had to keep growing in the business. In the meantime, we'd done a lot of financial restructuring. We split up our original company into manufacturing and gaming.
Yeah.
and real estate at that time.
Right.
So that old elastic business
Yeah.
became a listed company, and this became a listed company. And then we raised money and
Yeah.
invested in more and more in gaming, and
Yeah.
very successful it was. It's a great business. Then we opened in Sikkim and Nepal, and we in hotels in Goa. All over. Then we
Yeah.
built a hotel in Daman
Yeah.
because we had a license there.
Correct.
So then it you know,
Again, it kept snowballing.
yeah, it had its own, developed its own life kind of.
Yeah. I think that is your, if you had to have a favorite business, that is your favorite business. Is that
Close, real estate
Close.
and this. So I like both
Yeah,
businesses.
fair. No, I guess running your own casino, I'm sure, is a thrill like no other. Again, it seems like this opportunistic trend seems to continue through your career, right? I don't think you necessarily, it wasn't really a passion of yours or a thought of yours that you're going to want to set up a casino. But what went through your mind, like when you heard about this opportunity? Like, how did it actually happen? I get that the government of Goa was issuing these licenses. So you were just like, hey, I want it and I want to make it happen.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
So, how do you make, okay, so that is, I want to talk about this for a second because it's a big decision, right? Because it requires a lot of capital, you need to bid, you need to do a lot of different things, you're up against a lot of
We didn't know it would need a lot of capital to have, to get into the business.
Okay.
It was very, very marginal.
Really?
You could rent a ship, and you would. It was all working capital, really.
Yeah.
You could rent out things, and you could hire people, and all that. There
Okay.
was not much capital required.
Right.
But if you want to hit the number one spot,
Right.
then and you want to grow bigger and bigger, and you want to keep in line with what you think where the market is going, then
Yeah.
you have to start investing.
Right.
That's what really happened.
Right.
It was. We said we'll,
So you
do-
started, so this is actually really interesting. You started, well, kind of just piecing parts of the puzzle together. It wasn't all owned assets. It wasn't a big fundraise and then purchase of the license.
No, we first opened up, we first built our own ship,
Yeah,
which wasn't very expensive.
right.
It wasn't too big also. We built our own ship, we started that, and we said we'll run this one casino.
Okay.
Then like I said, the sickness of getting, wanting to be on top of the game
Yeah.
Forced me to buy another and get into another one, opens another one. So then it went into, the initial idea was to
Run
just
off
do
that
it,
one.
yeah, just do it as kind of something after my 50-year retirement time and have fun.
Yeah.
But then it became serious.
Right, right. No, of course, that business has taken a life of its own. There have been a few challenges recently, structurally, taxation-wise. How do you think about the future of this industry relative to the way it is anywhere else in the world? And does anything what frustrates you about this, or what do you think the government is getting wrong with something like this, if at all?
Doesn't frustrate me, but fortunately, what is happening is so ridiculous that it has to change. It's not sustainable. The thinking, what the government is thinking, is not sustainable. It's not correct. There's an error in understanding the business.
Yeah.
And because it's so ridiculous, I'm sure that they will realize and change. In the meantime, we're going through, a difficult patch where waiting for the courts to give a decision and making representations to government. I think that the realization will come, and they will say that this is, it's not a gambling den.
Right.
It's in Goa. It's for tourism. Goa has gone crazy with tourism.
Yeah.
And the huge jump has happened only after the casinos came in there.
Right.
So it actually, kind of.
No, there is a correlation.
Yeah, there are it closed the loop, of what Goa really needed.
Yeah.
So you'd go to the beach, you'd go and see temples and churches, you would eat at the best places, in the night you would go, otherwise you'd go home and sleep.
Right.
Here, there is a full entertainment kind of thing.
Yeah.
offering.
Right.
And you will see now that hotels are doing fantastically in
Yeah.
Goa. The airfares are the highest in the
Absolutely.
country per hour flying is the highest.
Correct.
People are finding it cheaper to go to Thailand and
Yeah, to
Bali.
leave the country for sure.
So it's done really well for a small state like Goa.
Yeah.
And if they want the business to continue and Goa to flourish, I think,
It's an integral part of.
yeah,
it's
and
become-
it'll change. I'm sure it'll change. In the
Yeah.
meantime, our profits are we're still making money, but profits are going through a little slump,
Lean-
and it'll
yeah.
come back.
Sure.
It's all part of the game, I guess.
Correct. No, but do you feel? I hear you on that. But do you feel like we're missing something, right? In like gambling is something that has been part of our culture, like long before
Absolutely.
casino. So how it's what I mean by that is not a new concept. And if you look at how casinos are now going to enter Dubai or have done incredibly well in a place like Vegas, have really shaped what was a desert. There's so much more that we could kind of do with that entertainment space. Are you hoping for like a policy change? Like what would change, like open up the floodgates for this space? Because I think there's a disposable income that's growing. People are aspirational. People, there's ways to encourage and make this responsible and make this like a night out versus an addictive habit. And people want to have these varied experiences without the taboo. I think it's at least the population is moving in that direction. So what is your ideal scenario really from here?
So Vegas started as a stopover for American GIs. They stop there and then they drive further to their destination. And this guy thought that great place, they have nothing else to do, put up gambling. That gambling has gone into something completely different now. It's you don't even, there are people who go to Vegas who don't even walk into a casino.
Yeah.
There's so much to do in Vegas. They created so much value.
Yeah.
So we are trying to do the same thing in Goa now,
Right.
where we are, building out a large, similar kind of destination,
Right.
irrespective of laws of whether these GST issues get resolved or not.
Right.
I think the market exists, and I think everything will get on track. And we are building out a large integrated resort with the convention center and retail and cinemas and a water park and a casino and 1,000 hotel rooms, a large.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
This is going to be near the new Mopa.
new airport, yeah.
Right.
It's 5 minutes from the new airport.
Right.
And we started work on it, on the infrastructure and all, and we'll build this out, I hope, in the next 4 years.
Right.
And that's the next big thing
I get it.
that we're doing, yeah.
I get it. So it's more about, again, right product, location, the
Yeah.
basics on repeat.
Yes.
Amazing. Okay, nice. I'm going to switch gears. There's another thing that I've noticed about you. You have a very lean team of people that are in your core, at least your core people around you. You can count them on, on literally one hand. And another feature is that those people haven't changed in the last, since
20,
you
30
started,
years.
really. And that I think is something people struggle with today, right? Building teams. And interestingly enough, these people aren't from Harvard or from some best college or best degree or craziest experience. They're just people that are incredibly hardworking, incredibly honest, smart, and that are very, very loyal to you. So how did you go about building this team? I think people really, really struggle with this today, and I think it doesn't necessarily apply only to your corporate or your business, right? I think even if it's your staff at home, it's this, or even a Jivan here in your Alibag house, I think there's a sense of extreme loyalty towards you. how have you inculcated that in your people? Because I'm sure these folks have played a huge part in your. We'll obviously talk about family separately, but these folks have played a huge part in the success that your businesses have had. So, can you talk to us a little bit about how you've gone about doing this?
Firstly, you have to trust them, and they have to trust you, and that takes some doing. It's not an easy thing.
Right.
They should know that there is someone who they can fall back on any time, and they don't have to go through a maze to get to.
Yeah.
You have to take care of them.
Sure.
Besides trusting them.
What does
So
that
that's
mean?
a
What does that mean?
simple-
Because I think people, I think as bosses today or entrepreneurs today, what does that really mean in
See,
today's
most of them,
context?
they have nobody to fall back on,
Yeah.
and they're spending half their awake life with you,
Yeah.
and they don't have anybody else. Otherwise, they'd be doing something else, for themselves or a business. They don't have capital. They don't have many things.
Sure.
Once they know that they have someone they can fall back upon,
Yeah.
and who they trust and who trusts them, I think it's a simple formula.
Right.
The money comes, I think,
After
like
that.
second, yeah.
So just having someone that is accessible, having someone who is there for them like family when shit hits the roof, so to speak, and the third is of course making sure that they're happy and compensated and growing
And settled.
with you and settled in their lives. Yeah, sounds simple enough.
Yeah, very simple.
Sounds simple enough.
But it takes its own challenges it has.
I'm sure it consumes a
Yeah,
big
of
part
course.
of your brain space on something like this day to day, right? Interesting. So I think people form such a big part of making a person or getting them to where they are in life, right? And these are people that you work with. I want to talk a little bit about your family. And I have obviously never met Ma, but I've heard from everyone about how amazing she was as a person. right?
Amazing.
I think at least whenever we've spoken very briefly about it, she obviously had a lot to do with even, I would say, a big part of the success that you are today is attributed to her.
100%.
You want to talk about that a little bit? I think I feel, this is my hypothesis, I think Indian parents get parenting really badly wrong. I think that's one of the biggest problems in our country is parenting. And just like you said, the way it is with your staff or people that you're working with, trust. Trust, I feel there's a big trust deficit today in people's own homes. So in terms of giving people the ability and the freedom and the backing to go out and do it, because belief, sometimes self-belief is also, it comes from external sources when you're young. So how do you, how was your experience and talk
With
about
her?
the role with that you had with your
No,
mom?
she had blind faith. Blind faith.
Yeah,
Full support. Anything I wanted.
yeah,
And made me feel absolutely free. Just the opposite of what I do with my children, unfortunately. but that's what she did. I didn't learn from her, unfortunately.
Sure.
And I guess also we had nothing to lose, both of us,
Yeah.
in those days. All she was betting on was me.
sure,
Today we are betting on much more.
right,
But we had nothing to lose.
Right.
Nothing. It was just she felt I had she always thought I was the best anyway.
sure,
But that I had the ability that I will make it, I'll make it through life comfortably.
right,
And she always supported me.
right,
I don't feel that I do the same with my kids, and like I said earlier, and I think I should do more of that.
right.
I'm trying my
Why
best.
do you not though? I think that's
I
an
don't
interesting
know.
thing, right?
I don't know. I'm a control freak. I'm a detail man. I've got OCD.
Yeah.
I've got all these great qualities here, and that all converges into
yeah.
this, I guess.
So maybe with Ma, it was also her not being so tuned in to everything that happened in the manufacturing world or in the retail world or in real estate, it was just like, my son is fantastic, he's driven, I've seen him working hard for the family and he's going to make it happen.
Yeah.
And then you just had that freedom to go out and do it.
That's it.
I think that's its own superpower, right? In its own
Oh
way.
yeah. And she was a solid person. She was not only for me, for her entire family.
You have a big family, yeah.
Huge. There's so many of us. We must be about. But when she was alive, we must have been 15, 20 with grandchildren and
Wow.
everyone. And everyone has the best regard for her. You can check with any of them.
No, I've seen it even on the family group till date.
She had a thing with everyone.
Right.
One-on-one kind of thing. But I was still on top of the pile.
Sweet. That's great.
Yeah.
I'd like to, maybe even move into your wife and your partner, Zia Auntie. She's her, just an incredible force of nature in her own right, and so incredibly successful at what she's done. How has she influenced you?
Much, if not more than my mother, at least I think more than my mother has actually.
Right.
She's been a pillar in my life.
Yeah.
She always pushed me along.
Yeah.
She always made sure that I walked the clean path.
Right.
I always complied.
Right.
That I was, legally speaking, I was always on track.
Correct.
And it was very important. People don't realize how important it is.
Yeah.
Because everything comes and bites you in the ass, later on.
Sure.
So she has been fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't think that. And I've been the same for her. We both have worked hard and we both supported each other.
Right.
And we've both done well with each other's support. We had nobody else.
Yeah.
Actually, for the last many, many years. It's been now, 16 years since my mother passed away.
Right.
And a lot has happened in these 16 years.
Correct.
We've always supported each other.
No, so I'm sure it must have been pretty incredible, right? I think you're like the ultimate power couple. But I think this is important. That's why I want to spend a little bit of time on this, because I feel like family has a lot to do with success of an individual. When you were transitioning, and you all have been dating since, I think this is fairly well documented, you all have been dating since you were 15 or 14. 14 years. So, I mean, you all have known each other pretty much coming out the womb, right? So,
yeah. 55, 56 years.
Exactly. So, something like that, it's an incredible story. Having that history, has it helped, or has it sometimes been annoying? How has that been?
No, not annoying at all.
Yeah.
Why annoying?
No, I mean in the context of, for example, when you have two extremely driven, successful individuals who are also stylistically quite different, right?
Very different.
And very opinionated, very, forthcoming in how they communicate. Sometimes I'm
alpha.
Yeah, I mean, even in my own marriage, sometimes my wife and I will, argue about something for 1 hour, and it can be a 5-minute conversation.
Correct.
So, this is more on a lighter side, right? How has that been? Have there been funny moments? Have there been something? Because I'm sure there have been mutual decisions, right, that you all have made. Whether it's about her career, whether it's about what you're doing in your business.
Absolutely.
You feel very strongly, and maybe your mom was like, Jaydev, please go make it happen. But maybe your wife doesn't feel necessarily the same way.
Many times.
So how did you manage something like that?
We talk about it.
Yeah.
And then I may have if she asks me, what do you think I should do about ABC?
Yeah.
And I'll say, this is what I think. She totally disagrees, and she does exactly what she wants in the same way with me.
Yeah.
That we don't agree. Or we pick out of A, B, C, I'll pick out parts of A, B, and C, and one takes in
sure
the best of
what someone
all.
said. Yeah.
But we do ultimately end up, whilst we discuss it, we'll do exactly what we want.
Understood.
And there's no problem doing that.
Okay, so that sounds like the key underlying takeaway for everyone here. No, fair enough. A couple of other things. I think you're also someone who is passionate about a lot of different, has his own interests, whether it's Pink Floyd and a great taste in music, to your love for animals, racing, horses, your love for wildlife, how intricately involved you are with your daughters and raising them and guiding them. How do you manage all of these different things? Going back to what I said earlier, I think there's 3 elements that I've seen with you. You do it now, whatever it is. You'll make sure that you're 100% present. Like you have 1 million better things to do, but you'll actually give me that 1 hour and actually talk to me. And the third is, of course, finding a way to be very clean and decisive about what you decide to do. So can you talk to us? Do you recognize these things about yourself? Did you work on these traits? Did you always have this?
It's a personality
Did it just happen to you? What is it? Because I'm sure you've seen the dividends of something like this.
Maybe 30 years ago, I would procrastinate something that I didn't like or there was a problem with, or I wouldn't face it 100%. And I realized that was really bad.
Yeah.
So that part,
Yeah.
that I must do it now.
Right.
And, end it.
So that was a conscious
Yeah,
shift.
that was a conscious shift.
Yeah.
The rest is personality.
Right.
A very detailed man, sometimes, to the extent of wasting time also.
Sure.
Just my wife is the same,
Sure.
absolute detailed person to the extent of wasting time.
Right.
But that is a trait that both of us have.
Right.
And we want a family for me, doing whatever I do for the girls is something that, they don't ask for, they don't care about, but I feel it's necessary because I probably didn't have it, or I thought that if I had those things, it would secure me in my thinking in my life.
Yeah.
So I want to secure them so that they feel in future that they are free to do whatever they want.
Correct.
Not that I tell them to do A, B, C.
Sure.
They're all doing what they want to do.
Absolutely.
But to secure them. And now it's gone to my grandchildren.
Yeah.
It's shifted. So it goes.
Yeah. I think you find something to worry about.
Yeah. To take care of.
Well, yeah.
To deal with.
To take care
To
of.
close,
to set up.
yeah.
No, I don't think your Excel sheet will end. So what's next? What's,
That depends on you.
You've got another line item coming soon, hopefully. What's next? What's next? What's the plan? You've done everything that you've done. You've reached a crazy level in your life, and you've done this pretty much from scratch. What's next for you personally? What's next for the businesses? How are you thinking about India over the coming 10, 15, 20 years? Are you betting on other folks? I believe you're setting up a family office now. How is that shaping up? Are you going to be actively involved with the startup ecosystem? Would love to just understand your perspective, because I guess at some point then you start, viewing, contributing to the country in different ways, and obviously the growth of your group in different ways. So, what's really the plan?
The most important thing right now for me is to make sure that I don't look at operating opportunities in the future. So do more passive kind of work.
Right.
And it's a big challenge for me.
Sure.
Because when I see it, like in black and white, and then I get attracted, and then I
Yeah.
get into it, which I have to control.
Sure.
The most important thing.
Yeah.
For me, it's to either just to make sure that, I'm 70, going to be 70 now, so
Right.
do closure. I'm never going to retire.
Of course.
I have to start closing accounts, all over the place, so that my next generation don't have have the least amount of problems.
Right.
As far as the country is concerned, I think that the next 10 years is going to be, our
Yeah.
India's years.
Yeah.
I see the US and Europe and everything China getting pretty much in the negative zone. We have all the opportunity, we have the market, we have the brains, we have the capital, we have the economic stability,
Yeah.
we have good leadership, we have a great bunch of bureaucrats,
Correct.
and we are on the right track. on a overall basis. There are always, everything can't be 100%, but we
Yeah.
are as close to perfection
Right.
for the next 10 years.
Right.
And I think that it's going to be our time. This is for you, for example, going to be the biggest opportunity
Yeah.
of your life now.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think it's going to be really fantastic.
Absolutely. Couple of closing questions. I want to just understand how are you, and this is something maybe I should have asked you a little earlier in this conversation. I know that you love land, and that's obviously underlying everything that you do in real estate. I've had the opportunity to visit a lot of the homes that you've built over the years, and there's something special about each of them. So I think you really have something in your gut where you pick very, very differently. What is your view specifically on land in India? How have you used it to create wealth for yourself, for your groups? And what do you feel is stopping people from entering that the way they've entered maybe other asset classes?
I think it's the safest asset class. Everyone must be in this asset class. So the challenge of buying land has always been two things. One is that the title is, and people get into a rut, and somebody comes and gives them a lemon.
Yeah.
And the other thing is where there is a squatter who comes onto the land. Other than that, if you take care of these two aspects, land is the best asset to buy for a long term.
Right.
If you bought land, say 20 years ago, land has gone up 80 times, 100 times in the last 20 years now, and this is one product that you can't make more of, as Brego land
sure.
says. There's only that much land.
Correct.
And shares, there'll be more shares coming in, that's another asset class. Gold, they'll mine more gold.
Yeah.
In metals, they'll mine more metals. In every asset class, there will be more and more supply.
Yeah.
In land, there's not going to be any more
Yeah.
supply. And therefore, you will never go wrong. But if you take a long-term view on land,
Sure.
so I've got a weakness for land, and it's given me a lot of capital in my life over the last 30 years.
Right.
Land has worked extremely well for me.
Yeah.
And I think that everybody must be, at least 30% of their wealth should be invested in land.
Right. That's significant. I think people are really fearful today, right?
But they are these two risks.
Sure.
What else is the risk in buying land?
Yeah, I guess those are two major risks. The operation
Yeah,
headache
major
of,
risk, major risk.
yeah.
But you can get it right. Both are in your control. You don't buy a land with bad title, and you make sure nobody squats.
Sure.
Make sure whatever you need to do, you do.
No, I mean,
You can't go wrong.
for sure. I'm very converted on this. I think it was interesting to just get your perspective, because you're someone who's used this asset class through your career and through your life, right? It
Yes.
hasn't just been lumpy, or typically for everybody it's a once in a lifetime kind of investment. And obviously people today are passive with a lot of their investments, with the stock market, through a mutual fund or whatever it may be. This requires maybe people to be a little more
People
hands-on.
put into fixed deposits, which after tax and all gives you like 5-6%.
Negative returns. Yeah.
Now here, 5-6% means over 10 years it doubles. That's what happens. In 10 years, land will go up 5 times. So it's 4-5x what you will make in a fixed deposit.
Yeah.
Plus, you have the bank can fail, a very small chance, but something can happen. Here, nothing can
It's
happen.
tangible, it's with you.
Exactly.
No,
land is the best investment.
I hear you. Last question, and then I'm going to let you go. If you were 25, 26, 30 today, and you go back in time, right? I know that you'd probably say it'll be opportunistic, it'll be something that would have come my way and I would have found it. But is there anything intentionally that you'd love to work on today, or if you were a lot younger today and in that zone? Like, what business would you want to start? What opportunity would you want to pursue?
Nothing outside of what I've done. I think I've done everything I wanted to do.
Right.
I see opportunity in what I do. I have a God-given, it's not mine, it's God-given gift to understand a location and I understand for land or for anything, which is really God-given, and I would do the same actually.
You'd pick that up again.
Oh yeah.
Nice. So I'm just going to spend a second on this. This is very interesting. At 70, you're saying if you could go back, another almost like 50 years, 45 years, you would still start in real estate and make something happen. You're still, obviously, I know you're still building buildings, you're still very actively involved. Do you see, what is the key difference that you see between running in that sector when you started and now? Isn't it going to be a lot harder, a lot more different? What key differences would you see if you're choosing the same industry to start in?
No, not different really.
It's not.
The fundamentals remain the same.
Get the right product, get the right location.
That's it. Nothing else really. But I would not have sold a lot of the land I had sold earlier in my life.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
No, thank you for this, Jaydev uncle. Really appreciate your time and obviously your wisdom. I think a lot for all of us to learn from you and very inspired by your story.
I see a lot of myself in you. You have the same fire. You have the same interests.
That's very kind, and if I become point something of you, that
I
is
know you
a lot.
will. There's no question.
And really appreciate it, and thank you for everyone, not just me, but everyone at the Brego family really appreciates you. You're up in our office. You have to come and check it out once.
I know, I will.
And yeah, thank you for this. Thank you so much. Thanks. Love you. All right, cut.